Tallinn, Estonia is a fascinating city with a rich blend of medieval charm and modern innovation. As the capital of Estonia, it boasts a beautifully preserved old town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where cobblestone streets and Gothic architecture transport visitors back in time. Besides the beautifully preserved old town, Tallinn is packed with fascinating historic sites that bring its medieval past to life, including Toompea Castle, Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, Walls of Tallinn, and Tallinn Town Hall. Tallinn is a very walkable city, and you can get around quite easily without having to use public transit. But if you do want to reach sites such as the Tallinn TV Tower or point of interest farther from the old town, I would suggest purchasing the Tallinn card, as the Tallinn card grants you access to admission to places such as castles, palaces, museums, restaurants, and more. In this vlog, I'll be visiting Old Town and the other historic sites in Tallinn, Estonia. Tallinn, Estonia has a rich and complex history shaped by centuries of trade, conquest, and cultural exchange. Archaeological evidence suggests that people lived in the area as early as 5,000 years ago. Around 1050 AD, a fortress was built in what is now central Tallinn, on the hill of Toompea. An important port on a major trade route between Novgorod and Western Europe, it became a target for the expansion of the Teutonic Knights and the Kingdom of Denmark during the period of the Northern Crusades, in the beginning of the 13th century, when Christianity was forcibly imposed on the local population. In 1219, the Danes captured Tallinn and established a stronghold, marking the beginning of Christian rule. In 1285, Tallinn, then known as Reval, became the northernmost member of the Hanseatic League, a powerful trade network that boosted its economy. The King of Denmark sold Reval, along with other land possessions in northern Estonia, to the Teutonic Knights in 1346. Reval was arguably the most significant medieval port in the Gulf of Finland at the time. The city changed hands multiple times, passing from the Teutonic Knights to Sweden in 1561. It was during the Swedish era that Tallinn became the center of a new administrative unit, the Estonian government. The crown validated the historic privileges of Tallinn, which first and foremost meant the town maintained its local government and continued to use the Rubeck rights. Compared to the Middle Ages, the importance of Tallinn was decreasing. The general decline of the Hasa trade decreased the wealth and independence of the town. The centralized power in Sweden tried to curtail the independence of the town council. Peter the Great captured Tallinn in 1710, integrating it into the Russian Empire. After integrating Tallinn into the Russian Empire, Peter the Great ordered a port to be built in Tallinn. The first bigger industrial company in Tallinn was the Admiralty Manufactory, built between 1714 and 1722. A paper factory, a match factory, and a machinery manufacturing plant were established in the second half of the 19th century. Tallinn became the capital of independent Estonia in 1918, but was occupied by Soviet forces in 1940, then Nazi Germany from 1941 to 1944, before falling under Soviet control again until Estonia regained independence in 1991. During Soviet times, Tallinn was divided into Meri, Lenin, October, and Kalinin districts that were renamed after regaining independence into East, South, West, and North districts correspondingly. Since 1993, Tallinn is divided into Habersti City Center, Kristine, Lasnamäe, Mustamäe, Nõmme, Pirita, and North Tallinn city districts. Today, Tallinn blends its medieval heritage with modern innovation, making it one of Europe's most intriguing capitals. Tallinn is packed with fascinating historic sites that bring its medieval past to life. Here are some must-visit attractions in Tallinn. Tallinn Town Wall is a well-preserved medieval defensive wall with towers that offer a glimpse into the city's fortifications. Tallinn Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This beautifully preserved medieval district features cobblestone streets, Gothic churches, and century-old merchant houses. At the center of Old Town is Town Hall Square, once a market square, and the center of the city's government. Town Hall Square is named after the Gothic Town Hall, which stands on the edge of the square and offers beautiful views of the old town from its tower. Toompea Hill and Castle, this historic fortress that now houses the Estonian parliament, sits at the top of Toompea Hill. Its tallest tower, Peak Hermann, is a national symbol. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral is a striking Orthodox cathedral with black onion domes and intricate mosaics built during the Russian rule. St. Catherine's Passage is probably the most beautiful alleyway in the whole town, and feels like you step back into medieval Tallinn. Along the walls to the entrance are some huge tombstones which are from St. Catherine's Dominican Friary. The centerpiece of Kadriorg is Estonia's only Baroque palace and park ensemble built more than 300 years ago on the orders of Russian Tsar Peter the Great. Stroll the green promenades, enjoy views of the Swan Pond, take time out in the Rose Garden, or admire the landscaping of the Japanese Garden. In the majestic halls of the Kadriorg Palace, you can get acquainted with Estonian Art Museum's collection of foreign art. The House of Peter the Great is a museum dedicated to the Russian Emperor's time in Tallinn, showcasing artifacts from his era. Tallinn's atmospheric Old Town is an enthralling hodgepodge of medieval streets and spires. Its small city and tourist areas are safe and easily explored on foot. For a look into Tallinn's past, visit attractions like Town Square and Toompea Castle, which brings the history of the city to life. Use my link to plan your trip to Tallinn using TripAdvisor. The Tallinn card is your all-in-one sightseeing ticket to the best that Tallinn has to offer. It includes access to public transit, admission to over 40 museums and sites, priority entrance to the Tallinn TV Tower, Tallinn Zoo, and Estonian Open Air Museum, a free map, and discounts for sightseeing tours, activities, shops, and restaurants. Use my link to purchase the Tallinn card using Tiqets. The walls of Tallinn are remarkable medieval defensive structures. The walls of Tallinn are a remarkable medieval defensive structure that encircles the city's old town. Originally ordered by Margaret Zambaria in 1265, the first wall was known as the Margaret Wall. It stood at least 5 meters tall and 1.5 meters thick. Over the centuries, the walls were expanded and fortified, making Tallinn one of Europe's best preserved medieval cities. Since that time, it has been enlarged and strengthened. The walls and the many gates are still largely intact today. This is one of the reasons that Tallinn's Old Town has become a World Heritage Site. The walls were enlarged in the 14th century, and the citizens of Tallinn were required to turn out for guard duty, which meant to wear their armor and demonstrate their readiness to face invaders. Today, the 1.85 kilometers of the original wall remains, along with 26 defensive towers. Some of the best places to see the walls include the Patkuli viewing platform and Tornaiti Baljak, or Tower Square. Visitors can even walk along a section connecting to the nuns' sauna and Golden Foot Towers, offering stunning views of the Old Town and Tumpei Castle. Tallinn's city walls contribute to its UNESCO World Heritage Site status, adding to the fairy tale-like charm of the Old Town. Tallinn Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best preserved medieval towns in Europe. Its cobblestone streets, Gothic spires, and century-old merchant houses transport visitors back to the days of the Hanseatic League. The historic center of Tallinn is an exceptionally complete and well-preserved medieval Northern Europe trading city on the coast of the Baltic Sea. The city developed as a significant center of the Hanseatic League during the major period of activity of this great trading organization between the 13th and 16th century. The combination of the upper town on the high limestone hill and the lower town on its foot, with many church spires, forms an expressive skyline that is visible from a great distance, both from land and sea. The upper town, Tumpei, with the castle and the cathedral, have always been the administrative center of the country, whereas the lower town preserves to a remarkable extent the medieval urban fabric of narrow, winding streets, many of which retain its medieval names and fine public and burgher, including the town wall, town hall, pharmacies, churches, monasteries, merchants, and craftsmen guilds, as well as domestic architecture of the merchant houses, have survived to a remarkable degree. The distribution of building plots survives virtually intact from the 13th and 14th centuries. The outstanding universal value of the historic city, the outstanding universal value of Old Town Tallinn is demonstrated in its existence as an outstanding, exceptionally complete, and well-preserved example of a medieval Northern Europe trading city that retains the salient features of this unique form of economic and social community to a remarkable degree. Highlights of Tallinn Old Town include the Town Hall Square, which is the heart of Old Town, home to Tallinn Town Hall, the oldest surviving Gothic town hall in Northern Europe. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, a stunning Russian Orthodox cathedral with onion domes, built during Estonia time under Russian Empire. Tumpe Castle, a fortress that housed Estonia's government for centuries, offering panoramic views from Kotusta and Patkuli viewing platforms. St. Olaf's Church, once the tallest building in the world in the 16th century, its tower provides breathtaking views of the city. Viru Gate, which is one of the most picturesque entrances to the Old Town and part of the walls of Tallinn. St. Catherine's Passage, a charming medieval alley lined with artisan workshops. The heart of Old Town, the Town Hall Square, is where Estonians greet their heroes returning home from big accomplishments abroad. In the summer, Old Town Days and Medieval Days attract Estonians and foreigners alike to the Town Hall Square. Every mid-November, we watch in awe as the Christmas tree is erected on the Town Hall Square, and we prepare to enjoy one of the most beautiful Christmas markets in the world. Tallinn's long-standing cafe culture has always evolved around Old Town. Maya Smoke, the oldest cafe in Tallinn, which dates back to 1864, and Pierre Chocolateria in the hidden Master's Courtyard, or a number of other trendy establishments, are cafes worth visiting in Tallinn. When it comes to views, you can't beat those from the Old Town Wall, its towers, and Tumpe Hill's viewing platforms. The Old Town is like an old book, rewarding those who read beyond its covers with delightful secrets. The walkable city center is one of the city's most attractive features. Old Town might be the main draw, but lively neighborhoods with diverse dining and entertainment options are only a step away. Don't let Tallinn's size fool you though. It might be tempting to think you can cross it off your list in a day, but you have only just scratched the surface. The vibrant cultural scene, excellent fine dining, and fascinating history will make you want to spend a day or two here. Tallinn is one of Northern Europe's best preserved medieval cities and was added to UNESCO's list back in 1997. The city's iconic skyline is dotted with church spires and red roof towers. Professional photographers and amateur Instagrammers will find endless options for the perfect backdrop, while history buffs can spend hours, even days, working their way through Tallinn's museums. Tallinn Old Town is not just a historical site, it's a living, breathing neighborhood with cozy cafes, medieval-themed restaurants, and vibrant festivals. Tallinn Old Town Days. Town Hall Square is the historic heart of Tallinn's Old Town, serving as a marketplace and gathering spot since the 13th century. It has played a central role in the city's civic life, surrounded by colorful merchant houses and medieval buildings reflecting Tallinn's Hanseatic past. Tallinn Town Hall is the oldest city hall in Northern Europe. In 2022, Tallinn Town Hall celebrated the 700th anniversary of its first mention in 1322. The story of the building dates back to the 13th century when it was first completed in its current form in 1404. The magnificent Gothic arches, the unique wood carving, tapestry, and paintings reflect the wealth and ideals of the former Hanseatic town. The works of art in the town hall were also examples of fair judgment for the aldermen because during the 13th to 19th century, the town hall was a courthouse. The square remains a vibrant cultural hub, blending medieval charm with modern-day life. St. Catherine's Passage is one of the most picturesque and atmospheric medieval alleys in Tallinn's Old Town. It winds from Vini Street and Muravi Street, passing by the remnants of St. Catherine's Church, which dates back over 700 years. The passage retains its 15th to 17th century architecture with arched beams and stone walls creating a timeless feel. The walls of the passage are adorned with medieval tombstones, remnants from the Dominican friary that once stood here. The photogenic atmosphere of the passage is one of the most photographed spots in Tallinn, perfect for capturing the essence of the old town. Home to St. Catherine's Guild, where artisans craft ceramics, glassware, textiles, and leather goods in traditional workshops. The passage was restored in 1995, preserving its medieval character while allowing visitors to experience Estonian craftsmanship firsthand. If you are exploring Tallinn, this is a hidden gem that is must-see. Enjoy a 1-hour guided walking tour of Tallinn and its old town as you explore Tallinn's historic center. Learn about the history of the city and the people as you visit the old city wall and more. When your tour ends, you will emerge with a greater understanding and appreciation for the historic old town and the history of Tallinn itself. Use my link to join this walking tour in Tallinn using Viator. Discover Tallinn's main highlights on a guided walking tour. Wander through the city's picturesque streets while learning about its rich history. Discover Old Tallinn and get to know how it was established and feel the medieval age with legends and myths of Tallinn. Enjoy most well-preserved buildings from the 13th century, get to know how the city is connected with the Danish flag, and visit the most impressive places with a bird's eye view to the city. Use my link to join this guided walking tour in Tallinn using Get Your Guide. Toompea Hill is a historic limestone plateau in the heart of Tallinn, Estonia, rising 20 to 30 meters above the surrounding cityscape. It has been the center of power for centuries, housing the Toompea Castle. The hill was home to a 10th century Estonian fortress, which was later expanded by the Danes in 1219 and the Teutonic Knights in 1227. Toompea Hill has viewing platforms which offers panoramic views of Tallinn from Kutosta and Patkula platforms. Estonian legend says the hill was formed over the grave of Kalev, a mythical hero. Toompea Hill is a must-visit for its historical significance, stunning views, and medieval charm. The Toompea Castle's predecessor, an ancient Estonian stronghold, had been in use since at least the 9th century AD. In 1219, the castle was overtaken by Denmark's crusaders, led by King Valdemar II. In 1227, the castle was overtaken by the Order of the Brethren of the Sword, who initiated rebuilding schemes. The castle's reconstruction began in the 13th century and is to a large extent the castle that we can see today. The castle fell again to Denmark just 10 years later in 1237 and was sold to the Teutonic Order in 1346 and would remain in their hands for the remainder of the Middle Ages. Tompe Castle was erected on the foundations of the crumbling eastern wing on the fortress built on this site in the 13th and 14th centuries. Over time, it transformed from a fortress into a ceremonial and administrative center. The castle with this late Baroque facade was built between 1767 and 1773. The history of Tompe is the story of the rulers and conquerors of Estonia, each of whom molded and reinforced the place to their own needs and according to their own taste. Architectural features of the Tompe Castle include a tall Herman Tower. The 48-meter tower is a national symbol where Estonia's flag is raised daily. Baroque and neoclassical additions, the castle evolved into a palace-like structure during the 18th century. Visitors can explore the public gallery to watch parliamentary sessions or take guided tours of the castle. Today, the castle is home to the Estonian Parliament. The blue, black, and white of the national flag can be seen flying at the top of the tall Herman Tower as a symbol of Estonia's independence. Tompe is also home to a number of romantic observation platforms and two mighty churches, including Tallinn's St. Mary's Cathedral and Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. The Alexander Nevsky Cathedral in Tallinn is a stunning Russian Orthodox cathedral built between 1894 and 1900 during Estonia's time under the Russian Empire. It sits atop Tompe Hill, directly opposite Tompe Castle, symbolizing Russian influence in Estonia. Architectural highlights of Alexander Nevsky Cathedral include its 5 onion domes topped with gilded Orthodox crosses, creating a striking contrast against Tallinn's medieval skyline, mosaic panels and ornate facade featuring intricate brickwork and arches showcasing Russian Revival architecture, 11 bells, the largest weighing 15 tons, more than the other 10 combined. Richly decorated interior, including gilded iconstasis, chandeliers, and frescoes painted on copper and zinc plates. The historical significance of the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral was that it was named after Prince Alexander Nevsky, a revered Russian military leader and saint. It was built as part of Russification policies, making it controversial among Estonians. It faced demolition proposals in the 1920s and 1930s, but was preserved. It was restored after Estonia regained independence in 1991 following Soviet neglect. If you visit, it is worth stepping inside to admire its iconstasis and stained glass windows. Despite its complex history, the cathedral remains an active place of worship and a cultural landmark in Tallinn. St. Mary's Cathedral, also known as Tallinna Tombkirk, is the oldest church in Tallinn and mainland Estonia, dating back to the 13th century. It's located atop Toompea Hill and has witnessed centuries of political and religious transformations. Originally Catholic, now Lutheran, and established by the Danes in 1219, it became Lutheran in 1561 after Protestant Reformation. Its 69-meter bell tower is a distinct feature. Visitors can climb the tower for panoramic views of Tallinn, but only when in good weather and when no services or concerts are taking place. The cathedral blends medieval Gothic elements with 18th century Baroque additions. Historic burial houses gravestones from the 13th to 18th centuries include those of Swedish nobility and military figures. The coat of arms is the interior walls that are adorned with heraldic epithets from Estonia's German nobility. The cathedral remains an active place of worship and cultural landmark, offering a glimpse into Tallinn's layered history. Embark on a 5-hour adventure meticulously designed to blend historical exploration, relaxation, and cultural immersion, promising an unforgettable Tallinn experience for cruise passengers visiting the city. Visit all of the must-see attractions in Tallinn, including the UNESCO Old Town and the ancient Toompea Castle. Use my link to join the walking tour in Tallinn using Viator. Explore Tallinn's Old Town with a guide and hear legends, visit medieval landmarks, enjoy panoramic views from Toompea Hill, and discover artisan workshops in the city's most charming streets. Explore St. Catherine's Passage and meet traditional local artisans. Use my link to join this guided walking tour in Tallinn using Get Your Guide. One of the best preserved medieval city centers in Europe, Tallinn's Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site with cobblestone streets, Gothic spires, and century-old merchant houses. From the imposing Alexander Nevsky Cathedral to the Toompea Hill and Castle, Tallinn is steeped in history that reflects its diverse past. Visit historic landmarks that were built when Tallinn was part of the Russian Empire, including the Kadriorg and the House of Peter the Great. Tallinn is a fascinating blend of medieval charm and modern innovation, making it a must-visit destination along the Baltic Sea. In my next vlog, I'll be visiting Helsinki, Finland.